Trick or treat. No, it's not really Halloween yet, but it's 4 a.m. in the morning, and I'm up to my typical daily routine, checking my plants out, just like my babies. While I'm at it, I think I'll have a beautiful sun-glowed cherry tomato. Look at this baby. These are the best cherry tomatoes I've ever had. They're sweet, they're heavy bears. I probably picked well over 1,000 this summer. Boy, it just doesn't get any better than that. My daily dose of vitamin C and lycopene. I think I'll have another. There's some way I can keep these babies going all year long. I never need another candy bar or another potato chip. I didn't know if this video would show up after dark, but I guess I have enough light out here. Let me show you some of my other tomatoes. These tomatoes have grown clear up under the eaves on the porch. One neighbor remarked that this is my own little privacy curtain, which is an understatement. You're looking at my first clone tomato this year. This is a big beef. This was planted about, or transferred to a Dutch bucket about July the 6th. And there's some really nice big beefs on here. A little further over is the second clone that I planted. You know, it's absolutely amazing. I have planted 9 clones this summer, some as late as the 3rd week of July, and every one of them has fruit on it. Now, if the frost will hold off just long enough, some of this fruit will ripen, or I'll have a lot of fried green tomatoes, which is not bad, but I still like the ripe ones better. Here you're looking at a cloned cherry tomato. You know, I've been cloning tomatoes since I was a boy. When I was a boy, we would cut suckers, and I'd often stick them in a coffee can full of water. And generally in 3 or 4 weeks they would root, and I'd stick them in the soil. But they'd never really get a chance to do much growing because the summer was over. With hydroponics, and it makes no difference if you use deep water culture, aeroponics, or Dutch buckets. They generally, when you transplant them after 2 weeks of rooting, which is about the norm for me, they generally within a week take off. And every single plant that I've cloned this year is going to bear. Now here is my lone Dutch bucket Brandywine. I have been picking some huge Brandywines, and as you can see, I've got some huge ones on there now. You're looking at one that's about 5 inches across. Right next to it is a cherry tomato. Over here, you're looking at a big boy. This has been a real good plant for me this year. And this big boy has had lights for the last 2 months on the inside of the plant, on the inside of the porch looking out. And because of that, these tomatoes still taste like summertime tomatoes. I'm stretching the envelope, in other words, because we have a lot less sunshine now. In fact, it doesn't get daylight here until about 7 a.m. and it gets dark at about 6:30. And you generally will lose the good taste on almost any tomato in late summer and early fall, but these lights are helping them along. Now here is my big beef. It is, I have picked several good tomatoes off it this summer, and it's loaded now. There's probably at least 15 green big beefs on. Boy, I hope the frost holds off. This is the best tasting tomato I've ever had. If there was just some way I could raise the temperature out here a little bit, and that may be possible. I may have to get some of these brooder lamps from Tractor Supply and see if I can raise the temperature out here about 5 degrees. It won't hurt to try. And last but not least, if it will show up, this is a sausage tomato. I have about 4 of them and they are doing great. I'm picking them every day. Pretty good tasting tomato. Heavy yield, not as good as a big beef, but still a very hearty tomato. And that's all today, folks. Mahalo.